Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And if you are a regular listener, you are well aware of our monthly listener challenge. If you are not, I'm going to explain it in 30 seconds or less. We'll see. I don't know. So every month we have a listener challenge just to get things all exciting and such. This month is the Serenity Prayer Daily Reflection. So that means that you're invited to recite the Serenity Prayer every day and reflect on your day and apply the Serenity Prayer to whatever circumstances, challenges, or excitement that you've encountered throughout your day. Think about how the prayer's themes of serenity, acceptance, courage, and wisdom manifest in your life. And to aid you in your exploration, I will offer a writing prompt every day to spark some introspection. So today's writing prompt is: write about a moment today that you wished for serenity, and how did you seek it? Identify a situation where accepting things as they are brought you peace. Okay, so we are still on this kick of doing some music therapy in Rachel's own way. And so today's song that I felt resonated with me today is Never Say Never by The Fray. And you know, all these songs I'm listening to, over my life, they've always made me almost feel like my heart was beating in my throat because I was so passionate about this boy or that boy. Did you expect me to say that? But today, as a 49-year-old woman, I'm able to remove that component and identify in a completely different way. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain songs that I listen to that makes my heart beat in my throat as I think of my husband, because it's that much like just love that just bubbles up inside of me. I know that's very mushy, but there are some songs that just make me think of him. And but all these songs that I've that have resonated with me in different ways over the years, one of the reasons why I stopped listening was because they would make me think of things that I could never have back again, and I talked about that yesterday. Things that you can't, things that we lost that we can't get back. So doing this now as an adult woman, I laugh at that because I don't feel like an adult woman, but I know I am. It's fascinating to do this today. And the music I have found over the past few days that I've been doing this, the music without the lyrics makes me feel more than it used to when I was younger. I actually can sit there and listen without the lyric. The time, there's like the big crescendo. I don't know if that's the right word, but then it'll go into like like an instrumental solo kind of thing. Usually every song does that, from what I've noticed. That part, I used to just be anticipating when the lyrics would pick back up again. But I have found this week that I'm really sitting and listening to and feeling the music itself without the lyrics. Maybe my husband is rubbing off on me. It's not that I never did that before, but I really preferred the lyrics. I'm more focused on, I mentioned that a few days ago, that like poetic side of music. Anyway, I think this has been pretty good. And I do allow my time about 20 minutes or so to sit and just listen to the song and write about it. So it's not that I'm writing for 20 minutes, but I'm listening. I write a little bit, then I listen to the rest of the song, and then I may play it again. And what my psychiatrist told me is like, give yourself that time to feel, to let whatever emotions come out that you're feeling. And then once you're done, remind yourself of the facts of what's going on in your life today, and then change your environment and do an activity that is more uplifting. So that's what I've been doing. And so today I want to talk about trust and how trust counters my fears. When I entered sobriety, I was desperate, and I was desperate enough to trust this group of strangers who told me that the program would work for me if I did the work, if I did what they suggested, quote unquote, suggested. I was afraid. I was embarrassed. And I was physically trembling. My voice would shake, my face would shake, I was crying. It was just as vulnerable as it gets. And I was doing that. I was allowing myself to be like that, like an open wound, because I was desperate. And I countered that fear that I had with blind trust, really. And just like that today, I have to trust these doctors that are telling me the medications, the therapy, the tests, these suggestions, again, that may lead me to a solution for my my illness, my disability, the stuff that's going on health-wise with me. Now, I have to say the doctors are quite a bit less confident in how these medications, therapies, and so on are going to help me. They're not sure because they don't know what's wrong with me. They're less confident than those AA people were back in the day. But at this point, I've reached the point of desperation again, just like in the program. I'm always drawing parallels between my sobriety and this recovery that I'm in now. And that point of desperation happened 9 months ago when I was just in so much physical pain that I didn't have a choice. Like, I had to seek help. I couldn't do it on my own. And so still out of desperation, I must face everything and recover. And I'll come back to that at the very end. Face everything and recover. So again, the song today is Never Say Never by The Fray. And these are the notes that I jotted down as I listened to the song. I'm alone. Some things I don't talk about with anyone. I'd rather do without them and just smile. I can't say I never will talk about these things. I did this before. I was afraid. I talk more than I used to. It's been the same problem with all my relationships. I'm afraid they'll let me go. Don't let me go. Don't leave me. I don't want to be alone, yet I isolate myself. I act like I know everything. I know best. Yet I need you. I need your protection. Please don't let me go. I reach out my hand and pull it back before you reach it. I'm falling apart. I make us pull apart because of fear, and on good days I pull us together again and again. Pull away, don't let me go. Reach back together, don't let me go. Don't let me go when I don't respond. I will respond again, when I'm ready to talk again about the same damn problem, time and time again. So one line that stood out to me was, you're the queen of everything, is one of the things that he said. And if I could only hold the same confidence that I'm the queen of everything when everything is crumbling. There are times that I definitely feel like I am the queen of everything. I think it's a hilarious line there because I could so relate to this obnoxiously confident feeling that I know all and I'm in control of all. I realized I expect a lot from those around me. Thankfully, I don't communicate this insanity in my head to everyone. Imagine the whirlwind of thoughts that blow through my head just when my phone rings. That's all it has to do. My phone rings, and there is this spiral of thoughts in my head. Like there's nothing simple about my self-talk, even in the smallest little occurrence in my life. Because when the phone rings, I think whether I want to answer it or not. I don't just automatically answer it. I think about whether I want to answer it. And I think about if I feel well enough to answer it. Now, before I was sick, I always thought about whether I want to answer the phone or not. And that started when I was married. Honestly, that's when it started. And it's just, I don't know, it's something I've always done since then. And I think it's like I'm predicting what the person is calling me about. What do they have to say? Like instead of just picking up the phone and talking, instead I'm spending this time. It's almost probably like a millisecond or who knows how long, where I'm like thinking, oh, they're probably calling me about this. They're going to say this. I'm going to say that. Like I'm playing out the scenario of our conversation just while the phone is ringing. That is the insanity that is in my head. Then that's just one example. I feel like that's why I turn my wanter off, because I have to just do the next right thing in these situations. The next right thing when the phone is ringing is to do what? To pick it up, right? But if I keep my wanter on, I'm not going to pick it up because it is ingrained in me to isolate myself. Like I talked about yesterday, I don't think what I want and what I need is even clear to me anymore. In this recovery that I'm in, I think that along with turning off my wanter, I have begun to turn off my feeler as well. And this is very difficult to talk about, the real insanity that is in my head. But I think that it's important that I do talk about it I mean, you guys have been listening, you lifetime listeners have been listening for like 9 months. And there are times that I cry. There are times that I'm super confident. I think there are times that um, I'm sharing with you a lot of important information that I've learned either in my own recovery or from doing my research. I spend a lot of time researching, and but what I haven't really shared about is some of the more personal thoughts that are in my head, the insanity, I guess. So I to feel to feel or not to feel, that is the question. My psychiatrist said, and I understand this now after years of saying that, oh, we just choose happy. You can choose your feelings, your emotions. Well, yeah, I can choose happy, but at what cost? And that's the thing that my psychiatrist shared with me that I hadn't really put together. And choosing happy doesn't mean that you're ignoring your negative feelings and choosing happy. And I think that's what I've been doing, even though I've talked about it here. I've talked about how choosing happy means that we're moving in the direction, we're making a choice to take actions that move us in the direction of happiness. It doesn't mean that we're just all of a sudden happy. But that can get mixed up inside of me where I feel like I can just ignore the action part and just be happy because I know what it feels like. So I'm just gonna, I think that with daily introspection, we can still stuff. I think we are very complex human beings. Our brain is very complex. Our personalities and characteristics and all of this stuff is so complex. It's difficult to look inward and have a full understanding of what's going on. Um, I I would believe that even a psychiatrist, having been educated for years, has a very difficult time looking inward and having a clear picture of what's going on inside. Um, so I don't think that there's anything wrong with any of us. I think it's complex. And so choosing happy means aligning your actions to what will lead you toward happiness. So the destination is my choice. And then there's the sum of all my decisions between where I am now and that destination that will dictate if I land there or not. And there are consequences to each and every decision, big and small. I'm responsible for every single decision I make. And each one, funny enough, leads me right to where I am. That's like a little, it almost spins my mind into a little puzzle. But it's the thing is like wherever I go, there I am. I hear that a lot in my sobriety. I make a lot of decisions that are intentional to protect myself. And a lot of times I tend to play out the tape and predict the ending of situations, just like the phone ringing. And this is a positive thing when I go to some sort of celebration. I may be at a happy hour for work back when I was working, and I play the tape forward and I think if I were to have a drink, I would die. Drinking is deadly to me. So I would play the tape forward and think, oh, if I had a drink right now, um, it's just one drink I'm looking at, but I can see the end of the night and I can see me driving drunk home or doing something just crazy. And then, more importantly, I can see myself drinking until I drink myself to death, just by taking one sip at that happy hour. So, playing the tape forward is a positive thing in sobriety to keep us sober. But I play the tape forward constantly where it's not doing me any good. It's like a plea for control. It's that I'm the queen of everything thing going on. Um, I can be so bullheaded. I listen to people and think why what they are saying is wrong, what they are saying is not best for me, or even better, I will interrupt somebody, depending on the situation, because I think I know what they're about to say and it's wrong, and I'm going to rebuttal before they even have a chance to take a breath between the fourth and the fifth word. you know? So what does this have to do with the topic? I isolate myself because I know how you're going to try to make me feel better. I'm predicting any interaction that I have with somebody. I'm predicting how it's going to go and why it's not going to work for me, why it's not going to make me feel better. I shut down because I know you're right, so if I'm pulling away, I'm not interacting with somebody because I know what they're going to say and I know what they're going to say is right and I don't want to face that. That's another reason why I might pull away. I don't call you because I want to protect my fears. Um, and one of those fears is me talking to you and you either don't understand, you can't relate, you tell me something I don't want to hear, or you don't have any compassion for me. I don't want you to get tired of hearing about the same fears over and over again. That's one thing that I'm facing right now is uh, I've encountered quite a few, I mean, countless, really, people who say to me, how are you feeling? And I don't know how to respond to that because I don't feel well. Um, always. I always don't feel well. And I don't know how to say that because who wants to hear that? Who wants to hear, oh, okay, she still doesn't feel well. I'm starting to believe that you know, I'm afraid that either somebody's not going to believe me, that another response that I get is, well, maybe you should try, and then you just name it. Botox, every, magnesium, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't think of any right now, offhand, but like a million different recommendations from people who you should drink more water, you should cut out caffeine, you should cut out sugar, you should eat less bananas, take vitamin be, to take, it's just constant. And I don't want to hear that either. So I almost don't want anybody to ask me how I'm feeling, because I don't want to say again that I feel terrible. I feel terrible today. Oh, I don't feel good. I also don't want to say, oh, I'm fine, because I'm not fine. I'm never fine. That's how I feel every day. And I don't know how to address that, because what my psychiatrist is telling me is, if somebody's asking me how I'm feeling, I need to talk about how I'm feeling. But there are times, just like when you're walking down the hallway at work or something and somebody says, hey, how are you? Well, they don't really want to know how you are. I mean, that's my perception. They don't really want to know how you are. But if your best friend walks in to your office and shuts the door and says, hey, how are you feeling? They do want to know how you are. So it's just one of my struggles that I'm sharing with you. So every time somebody asks me and I tell them the honest answer, it hurts the same amount in my heart. It makes me the same. I'm the same amount of, how do you say that? I'm just as frustrated each time I say I don't feel well. I'm just as frustrated. I'm just as sad. And I don't want to get to the point where somebody says they're tired of hearing. I mean, they're not going to say it to me. They're just going to stop calling me, And I have one thing that I found out in early sobriety when I did step 4 is that all of my relationships, all of them, every single one of them, have been impacted by my fear of abandonment. Every single one. And one of the reasons why I don't talk a lot about how I feel is because I'm afraid of all of these things that I just mentioned. These fears, this fear when I was an active alcoholic led to self-destruction, isolation, and it combated any sort of, trust that I had in anyone or anything. And my fears will make me doubt you. My fears will make me doubt my fellowship. My fears will break down my trust in the individual members in my fellowship. My fears will make me doubt my doctors, and my fears doubt that you know what's best for me. And which means if you try to suggest to me something that you think is best for me, I am going to shut that down faster than you can get the sentence out. Really. So my sobriety program, and what that does is it's creating a problem within the relationship. And that's why I say that my fear of abandonment impacts everybody. Because at the end of the day, I'm afraid I'm going to say something and you're going to leave me. And the last thing I can handle right now in this recovery is somebody going away. no matter what. I don't care who it is. I cannot lose any relationship right now. I wouldn't be able to handle it. So anyway, my sobriety program likes to use acronyms. If you're in the program, you're fully aware that different words, they use the letters of the word to become an acronym for something. So fear is, I've heard, FEAR. I've heard that as an acronym for forgetting everything's all right. And that's a pretty good one. I like that one. I've also heard it said false evidence appears real. And I don't really care for that one so much. I don't know. I don't really care for that one. But this is the one I heard today. And it was exactly what I needed to hear. And it's what I started the episode off with. Think of fear as face everything and recover. So this idea of not talking about things, to rather do without them and smile, like the song says, choosing happiness. This isn't helping me, and pulling myself away from help so that I never have to talk is just isolating. And although I may be sitting in front of a microphone and I'm talking about all of this stuff every day, that doesn't mean that I have not been isolating myself. And I have. And that's why I reached out to a psychiatrist. That's why I have the little note on my world famous schedule on my whiteboard that says call one person a day, because I can identify it now when I'm starting to do it. And long before I hit my bottom as a drunk, I remember saying to whoever was listening, if anyone even was listening, that I'll quit anything, including smoking, but I'll never quit drinking. And that is what I thought of when I saw the title "Never Say Never" by The Fray. It's not necessarily what the rest of the song leads me to, but or the rest of the song applies as well, or whatever. But that's what I was thinking. Never say never, because I did say that I'm never gonna drink, or I'm never gonna stop drinking. But here I am, stopped. So anyway, whatever you got out of that, fantastic. Thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you tomorrow.